Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Wednesday, April 9, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, Cayo Rosario project opponents say they will internationalize their cause. Suspected Belmopan gunmen killed in Belize City. And new building codes to be introduced in 2026 for public buildings. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Make light work lighter and quick.
Ley de Igualdad de Oportunidades. Belice, estamos listos.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. There was a robust showing of concerned residents at the public meeting on the Cayo Rosario development Tuesday night. The meeting held at the Lion's Den was called by stakeholder organizations who say they and their environment stand to be greatly impacted if the 10.2-acre key is developed. The key sits within the Hull Chan Marine Reserve and is home to protected species that fly fishers rely on for their livelihood. Attendees at the meeting showed up with placards that read, "Save Hull Chan," "Stop selling our livelihoods," "No over the water structures," "Proud to be emotional," and others. In posts they have been making on social media, the opponents respond to the comment from CEO Beverly Wade that the Cayo Rosario is emotional. They say the government is not emotional because they don't care enough. While government officials say they understand the opponents, they have also said the island is private and that monitoring agencies will conduct all necessary checks for the project that received an updated environmental clearance plan in October 2021. Among the many speakers Tuesday night was Roberto Cano, president of the San Pedro Tour Operators Association. He says they have a 3-step plan that includes internationalization of their plight.
Our action plan from here is going to be 3 steps. Okay? Step 1, we're going to create a marketing plan. That marketing plan will include the videos that we had mentioned to you all and how we are going to attack and expose Cayo Rosario. Okay? That's the first one. The second one will be that we are going to layer up and get legal advice on how we proceed with Cayo Rosario. The third one will be community engagement, where we are going to depend on you all to fight with us and stand with us. Because as associations, we have our members and we represent our membership. But they always say, Roberto, Billy, Elito, they always they fight. So what we need to show them that it's not us, it is all of us together. Okay? So every time we reach out to you, you need to show up. You need to show up with us. We cannot fight without you.
A man identified as 24-year-old Louis Marin was fatally shot in Belize City last night. The incident occurred through Pink's Alley after 10 p.m. Marin, who lived in Cotton Tree, was hanging out with a relative when they were approached by a gunman who fired several shots at him. Reports are that Marin was being sought by police in connection with the attempted murder that occurred in Belmopan over the weekend. The Ministry of Infrastructure, Development and Housing has announced that after 3 years of work with stakeholders, the 2024 Belize Building Code will be introduced following legislative amendments. The document will serve as the base for future building construction in Belize. Chief Engineer Evandale Moody shared that a working group combed through over 700 pages of the IBC to generate a Belize version. Those stakeholders include the Central Building Authority, the Association of Professional Engineers, and the utility companies. The code is set for official launch in 2026.
In an effort to integrate climate resiliency and, most important, safety, we saw the need for us to develop a set of codes that could be applicable to our unique environment. In doing so, after consultation with Minister Espat, we contacted the International Code Council, which is the leading entity for the development of building codes worldwide, because many other countries have adopted the codes that they have developed. They have over 13 I codes, suite of I codes, And so in consultation with the ICC, the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing decided to look at three codes initially. One was the International Building Code, which is the IBC. We also took a look at the International Residential Code, and we also looked at the zoning code. However, at that point in time, when analyzing those three codes, the working group that was put together to review these codes saw that it was very extensive. And so we decided to reduce that to only one code, which is the International Building Code, which is what we have asked Cabinet to give us the permission to legislate that now.
Moody explained that the building code, adapted from the International Building Code, IBC, focuses primarily on guidelines for public buildings.
Basically, the code is comprised of all the elements of construction for an entire building, but more specifically, the code focuses on public buildings, which are very important to us because that includes hotels, hospitals, structures, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories, which houses a number of public officials and residents, not only those that are within the building, but other people that are outside the building that could be affected by these structures in the event that they have failures. So the building code itself basically encompasses all construction aspects from foundation to roof. So it includes foundation, walls, roofing structures, the interior of the building. It provides accommodation for disability. It includes aspects for health and safety in terms of fire. It tells you it's a wide range of aspects. So it's basically much more than what we have in terms of our building act that we currently have. And so the code itself will basically be formed as a part of the Belize Building Act.
For 1 year after the code is legislated, there will be an education campaign so engineers and designers can submit their proposals to the Central Building Authority. Currently, they draw from the codes of other countries. To ensure compliance and the implementation of the code, Moody says the Central Building Authority will have to be expanded. The Public Service Union of Belize, PSU, in a release on the report about restructuring at the Department of Youth late Tuesday afternoon, said their reports are that it includes a potential reduction of staff by 33% or approximately 100 employees. The PSU says it acknowledges the need for strategic reforms to improve efficiency, but called on the ministry to prioritize a human-centered approach that safeguards livelihoods and addresses systematic issues before resorting to job cuts. The union affirms that first to be addressed should be long-standing inefficiencies, alleged corruption, and potential ghost workers. They call for an audit to be conducted of the ministry and for there to be a comprehensive review of staffing needs and alignment of employees' skills and expertise to maximize productivity before considering displacement and the exploration of redeployment opportunities across ministries. After the break, GOB meets private sector about U.S. tariff. Stay with us.
Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Honorable Francis Fonseca, on Tuesday led a meeting with the private sector in its efforts to assess the immediate and long-term implications of the new 10% reciprocal tariff imposed by the United States on April 5th. Participating were a wide cross-section of businesses, including micro-enterprises to major exporters and key industry associations. Having made recent expansions into the U.S., some participants expressed concerns about rising costs, trade disruptions, and competitiveness, especially due to shipping uncertainty. The ministry informed that though many businesses signaled a willingness to explore diversification, they expect government to address the cost of doing business at home. The ministry will present their concerns to Cabinet while Belize's embassy in Washington is tasked with engaging U.S. authorities at the highest levels to seek clarification, explore possible exemptions, and reaffirm Belize's long-standing partnership under the Caribbean Basin Initiative, CBI. Minister Fonseca is quoted saying, quote, "Belize's future lies in our ability to adapt, to collaborate, and to safeguard the gains we have worked so hard to build. In the face of shifting global dynamics, we must be agile, we must be strategic, and we must, above all, stand together," end quote. Today, it was reported that President Trump was pausing tariffs on most nations for 90 days, but raised taxes on Chinese imports. Apart from the Bladen 12 drug plane case, there was another big drug plane matter that was before the magistrate court system, this one in San Ignacio. It involved another November 2021 landing, but in Mountain Pine Ridge. Police later found 25.5 bales of cocaine, as well as the badly injured co-pilot, Mexican Jesus Alberto Quintero Martinez, who was remained on remand since. Charged with him for the illegal plane landing were 6 Belizeans, including Miguel Angel Zetina, Edwin Armando Gonzalez, Jaime Humberto Maz, Edilberto Medrano, Eric Young, and Salus Penner. They are being represented by 5 attorneys. In a pivotal development after over 3 years, the case has abruptly ended due to Magistrate Cara Walters recusing herself. Reports are that her decision came after a particularly continuous exchange with head of the prosecution branch, Alifa Elrington. Today, Elrington would not comment beyond sharing that this case was a little more contentious than others and that there have been recusals in the past. The development means that the case will have to be restarted when another magistrate is assigned the case. The reporting of domestic abuse cases can be a traumatic experience, and unfortunately, many who are victims suffer in silence. When they do muster up the courage, many choose to confide in medical professionals, but in order to follow protocol, victims may need to make further reports. Newly appointed Minister of Human Development, Family Support, and Gender Affairs, Honorable Tia Garcia Ramirez, admits that following protocol can be traumatizing. She said there are routine training sessions to ensure that frontline workers interacting with victims do so in the most respectful manner possible.
Unfortunately, right now, then if that happens, there will be need for the victim to recount the entire details. Now, that is one of the key reasons why victims all over the world do not report. Personnel at the Corozal Community Hospital and across the Ministry of Health and Wellness continue to be trained in ways in which to speak and dialogue with victims in a way that does not violate their dignity in a way that is not intrusive, in a way that will not re-victimize them. And so our ongoing trainings with the police department and ongoing trainings always at the ministry. Thereafter, the ministry does support with psychosocial help. And so to minimize it, there's no way of getting around the telling of the story a couple of times, although it is tried to be kept to a minimum and in the most professional way possible and in the least intrusive way.
The minister also spoke out against the insensitive social media comments that have unfortunately become the norm in Belize. She is in favor of turning off comments when crimes of domestic abuse or gender-based violence are being reported on social media. According to the minister, these comments, which are quick to judge the victims, make it harder for those being abused to come forward and make reports.
One of the harshest judge and juries in the world is found on social media and in the court of public opinion. And that is why personally I have said publicly time and again that we need to stop it. I've even called on several occasions on media houses to disable the comment section, and I even taken issue with how some media houses report these crimes and alleged crimes and things like that, because it really is a hard thing to do, to report. It is a hard thing. It takes a lot of courage. And, when finally it makes the media, you're victimized all over again. And it's very unfortunate.
In police news, an 18-year-old taxi driver from one of the Keys has been charged with the rape of a 15-year-old. According to information received, the virtual complainant reported that on Sunday, April 6, the two were socializing and she was taken to a location where she was raped. The girl immediately reported the incident to her mother, who accompanied her to file a police report. A medical examination was conducted. The accused was charged on Monday. Meanwhile, 35-year-old Jeffrey Pott, a resident of Corozalito, will spend 20 years behind bars for unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor. He was sentenced by High Court Justice Nigel Pilgrim, who said he was sending a strong message to men in particular that touching children will have dire consequences. Pott denied the allegations, but Justice Pilgrim found the testimony of the child to be credible. In his mitigation hearing, his common-law wife and a relative testified on his behalf, and the judge subtracted 2 years from his sentence for his participation in a rehabilitation program. Pott is also on remand for murder. The trial for that case is pending. And after the break, police may consider community input when deciding on officer transfers. Stay tuned.
20 years ago, we built a company
During Tuesday's newscast, we reported that residents in Sartaneja held a public rally to show their support for Sergeant William Marroquin, who reportedly is being transferred out of that jurisdiction. Our newsroom reached out to incoming Commissioner of Police, Dr. Anthony Richard Rosado, who said that the Belize Police Department does not publicly discuss the matter of personnel movement until they have been finalized. We added that transfers are routinely done to assist in career development and operational efficiency, as well as to allow police officers to gain experience and to assume leadership roles that may become available. On the matter of community input, Dr. Rosado said, quote, "While operational decisions are primarily based on departmental priorities, we value public trust and engagement. Exceptional circumstances such as unique local partnerships or specialized assignments may involve community considerations, but transfers are ultimately determined by leadership of the department to improve service delivery and operational effectiveness," end quote. With the budget expected to be presented until mid-May, many ministries will have to wait to implement new initiatives. On Tuesday, Honorable Tia Garcia Ramirez said she does not anticipate any issues in the Ministry of Human Development, Family Support, and Gender Affairs. She said that the government is providing funds for recurring expenses, which includes salaries. With those expenses paid, she expects the ministry to function as per usual.
We don't have a set budget. There has been some allocation for recurrent spending that has to happen. People need to take home that salary and for operational expenses. So some provisions have been made to the government smart stream system for that. Of course, these are only for recurrent expenses until the budget is tabled and until the budget debate has come to an end and the budget has been approved. And that is in order for salaries and so on and so forth to be paid, because the work of the government needs to continue. That cannot stop. So while we are going to be delayed a few weeks with capital to expenses and so on and so forth, I don't think that the services or the operations of the government will be affected negatively. And I do think that we're going to be able to keep going. That's why the provisions have been made. So I don't anticipate any problems at all.
April is Autism Awareness Month. Autism, or Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD, is a developmental disability and is caused by differences in the brain and how it functions. Experts believe that there may be multiple causes that together bring about the developmental shifts. Human Development Minister Honorable Tia Garcia Ramirez said she believes people are products of their environment and stresses that it takes a village to take care of each member of society, including those with disabilities. She also praised the work of the Ministry of Education, who offers support and guidance to those with autism and those disabilities.
I believe that different is not less. We all have special qualities. It sometimes just takes different circumstances to bring those out. We recently had also Down Syndrome Day, another important community of differently abled young people in Corozal. They're very active. You mentioned autism. I think that we have great support from the Ministry of Education here in terms of that, and I try to work very closely with them. The special ed officers here through the Ministry of Education are excellent, and there are two or three schools in the district that and they work closely together. So we're very happy for that. And my job is to just ensure and support that they have everything that they need. They're they're always having get-togethers and all. They're bringing in their alumni. So that is nice to see, to continue to have activities so that everyone feels included, so that we have a community that is inclusive, that is, that understands people with special needs and welcomes them and makes them feel safe and cared for.
Honduran airline Lanza has suspended operations for 4 months following the crash on the evening of March 17, which claimed the lives of a dozen people, including Garifuna music legend Aurelio Martinez. The announcement was made earlier this week as 4 British experts from the company, which produces the Jetstream 32, remain on the ground in Roatan, Honduras. The aircraft plunged into the sea shortly after takeoff while en route to La Ceiba. The investigators at this time are still trying to retrieve the fuselage and the black box or the flight data recorder from the sea. After the incident, reports emerged that aircraft were poorly maintained based on comments that the late pilot shared with a friend that the aircraft had displayed issues on a previous flight. Lanza operates 6 aircrafts in Honduras. The temporary halt in operations has employees worried. Today, Aurelio's band informed that they are seeking justice and are calling for an exhaustive independent investigation with international experts to ensure transparency and justice so as to avoid another tragedy. Its statement was accompanied by a petition. And Belize law graduate and associate Isaac Rabato has been accepted at the University of South Wales in the UK, where he will pursue a Master's of Laws LLM, which is a postgraduate degree which will allow him to specialize in a specific area of law. Rabato said he will be focusing on civil law during the 1-year program. Rabato expressed gratitude for the opportunity, reflected on his journey thus far, and encouraged other youth to pursue similar goals.
I have an honors degree in law, which I got from the United Kingdom previously, but now I have been accepted into this prestigious program for a Master's of Law in the UK. So I'm grateful to be given and afforded this opportunity and to expand on the knowledge which I currently have and to grow and kind of build on that framework. So I will be doing an LLM, which is the Masters of Laws, and I will be learning more on civil practice and that kind of thing, legal practice. My concentration, I hope to be grounded in the civil law, and I'm grateful for that. The program is a 1-year program. I will be at the University of South Wales, and I'm grateful to be a part of that and kind of expand on, as I said before, the law degree that I was already conferred with, and also the good experience and pupillage and apprenticeship, as you would word it, that I had under Senior Counsel Elrington and my mother, Miss Sharon Pitts, and the great, imminent, emerging, important cases that they have been working on, and I've been honored to assist on as well. And I also want to encourage other persons to do it, other young Belizeans. As you know, Giovanni, there's a segment of Belize that almost is afraid to go and have these ambitions, and whether it be for financial constraints or academic worries, or I would like to encourage young people to do like me and to pursue these things because they're noble endeavors.
Rabato comes from a family of attorneys. However, he said that wasn't the main reason he chose a career in law. He wants to return to Belize and offer professional services to Belizeans of all walks of life.
I do come from a family of attorneys, the Pitts family, and they have been able to produce, I believe, the most in number attorneys in Belize out of the families, more than the others. But I am grateful to have come from that, but that is not the reason that I have pursued law. I pursued law because it made sense to me and because I want to contribute to country and people and this legal system. Well, I'd like to thank my parents, Roy Robotush, Sharon Pitts, my late grandfather, the Honorable B.Q. Pitts, Senior Counsel, as I said, Senior Counsel Elrington, and all the other lawyers who have taken me and family members who have taken me and have encouraged me, and for whose input I am eternally grateful and happy for.
All right. Again, thank you so much and congrats. And keep us informed of your academic journey. Okay.
Thank you very much, Giovanni. And it is my intention to take these talents and to hone them and expand on that training and to return to Belize and to give significant contributions to Belize, not just in the sense that many persons would like to be trained abroad, expand on that training, and become handsomely wealthy in legal practice or that kind of thing. My goal is to come and to offer good professional services to Belizean persons, both those who can afford and those who are marginalized and have more significant needs, and to offer them access to law and justice and to good services.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.